We haven't started yet. Plus, you can be a member of the public.
Yeah, and that's about your taxes.
You are.
By your home insurance.
All right.
Sorry,
Where did Brett? Was he right?
You want to wait for him or next time?
Let's just wait, otherwise I'm pretty close on quorum, so if you're okay with just waiting, then.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to keep all myself. Okay, that's for sure.
Sugar high.
Yeah, once I die, so they have those strawberry color you were
Well,
out.
thanks. All right.
Trust me, I got a big bucket of actual Starburst at home,
All right.
help and candy, be there till Easter.
All right, we're ready. All right, welcome everybody to the December 5th meeting of the Leesor Henderson School Board. We're starting here at 6 p.m. with our truth and taxation hearing. It's officially a hearing, isn't it?
Yep.
All right, do we do the pledge?
No.
There's no.
Go ahead and do it. Do it.
All right, we'll go take it away.
So this is the May 23 Truth and Taxation Public Meeting. So why have a Truth and Taxation meeting? The law was passed in 1989. There's two major requirements, that counties must send out proposed tax statements in November based on the tax levies set by all taxing jurisdictions, and that we host a public meeting. And in that meeting, we discuss the table 23 levy and the fiscal year 23 budget, and then we're open for public comments. And this is our annual required hearing. So who sets the school levy? It's set by state formula by legislature, and they set the general education formula, operating capital, career, technical reemployment, and then the other portion of that is voter approved as authorized by the state, which is going to include your operating referendums and your building bonds.
So just a quick pause right there.
Yep.
For all the public that are here, we don't really get to just set a number.
Right.
It is either determined by the state and we can go up to the amount they allow,
Yep,
or the voters get to vote on it.
that's correct.
Yep.
Yep. And so all of that is then based on your property tax. So how is your property tax determined? The county assessor determines the market value for each parcel of property. The Minnesota legislature sets the formulas for tax capacity. Let's go back. These formulas determine how the tax burden is split amongst various property types, residential, commercial, ag, etc. The county auditor then calculates the tax capacity for each parcel based on that above information. Then the county auditor divides the total tax levy by total tax capacity of the districts to determine the tax rate that's needed. That is then multiplied by each property's tax capacity. Lots of wordy words.
Clear as mud.
So here is an example of a proposed tax statement that you might get in the mail. At this point, you can't try to have them change your property tax, your estimated market value. That has to be done in the spring of the year when the valuation notices come out. And most local and county appeals take place in April, May, and June after that notice is given. And then that, if they adjust that market value for you, then that's updated mid-October on the property tax statements. So here are the effective tax rates by property classification on the various classifications here that your taxes are based off of. And then the share of the tax liability amongst the various property classifications. So you
Is
can
that for
see,
our district or just for?
this is just the state, this is just a general overview of how levies are set and property taxes work. But as you can see, the dramatic difference there the classification makes. The two biggest disparities are farms and commercial industrial. Commercial has a 13.9% share of the market there, 13.9%, but pays 31.1% of the taxes. On the flip side, farms have a 17.1% of the market value, but only pay 6.6% of the taxes. So this slide is just showing the net property taxes paid by all jurisdictions and townships.
And that right there is why I'm in economic development. That's exactly why cities do economic development.
Yeah.
Commercial, industrial, pays taxes.
They sure do. This is showing some state aid impact, who collects the taxes versus who spends them. So as you can see, school districts collect the smallest portion of taxes at 8%, while the state collects 62%, and non-school local entities collect 30%. But then that share is split up differently upon who spends it. As you can see, the school districts spend about 27% of that share. Here is a chart showing that the general education formula allowance has been increasing but not keeping up with inflation over the last few years. So school districts account for a significant portion of overall property tax levies in Minnesota, which is the blue line. But the school share of levies has decreased significantly since the late 1990s. As you'll notice, the school taxes have approximately doubled, while non-school local governments, they're the red line, have risen close to 4 times during this period.
Do we know why that is? Like, just because we're capped, or?
Yeah, I'm not sure why that is. I got this from MDE, the data source down there.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, we can only go as high as they let us go. Counties and cities can go.
Right, a lot of this is limitation, because anytime for a district to spend money, we can't spend it without taxpayer approval.
Approval, right, that's what I was.
Whereas the city or the state, if they need to raise the taxes, they can just raise
Just
it.
do it, yeah, that's what I was thinking, that you're not gonna get the general population in most cases to improve operational levies all the time, and same with bud bonds.
Right, I mean, because if all the rules were equal,
Yeah, we would be,
that red dash line would be similar to that bottom
Yeah.
green line, the dash line there, and we would be the same boat.
Mhm.
Or, I mean, actually, maybe we wouldn't be the same boat, but I think that if people had their choice, more than likely education would be funded more than what it currently is versus all the other stuff that the city and the state or the counties collect for taxes.
So that kind of sums up my educational piece on property tax and levies, and then we'll go into the fiscal year 2023 budget that you guys had adopted.
The other thing I learned I listened to the auditor from Sidney County talk at a presentation I went to, is that when that ratio, like sometimes people just think their property taxes change because their property value changes, but it can also change in relation to the others. So like if they reassess the market value of housing, but don't reassess the market value of, say, farmland stays here, housing goes up, and so their taxes go up just because relative to farm, or the other things in the mixture, which I was like, I didn't understand that. It's not just about your own home value, it's about your home value relative
Yeah.
to other things in your community,
Right.
and that gets confusing.
So then, all school district budgets are divided into separate funds as required by law. We have 4 main budgets here. The general fund, food service, community service, and debt service. General fund being our main fund, obviously. So our revenue in that is based on student enrollment. The local referendum levy is part of the general fund as well. This provides for classroom instruction, instructional supplies and equipment, and other educational activities. It also encompasses special education, extracurriculars, pupil transportation, facility operation and maintenance, capital expenditures and improvements, and health and safety code compliance. So here is a breakdown of the general fund revenue reconciliation. As you can see, the majority of our revenues come from state aid. So the projected revenues for fiscal year 23 were over 12.5 million. And here's a breakdown of the general fund expenditures. As you can see, the biggest portion of the expenditure for the school district is obviously teachers and the staff here at LSH, teachers, paras, secretaries, all the staff that work here. And then the other large chunk of that goes to special education. And then here was,
Just go back one more.
Sure.
So if you look at how much is spent, all right, you can see how expensive, if you provide services for special ed, how much money it takes out of your budget, and we're not funded, and you've heard me say this before, we're not funded properly for special ed to cover the cost of what it takes to accommodate some, because we have some very severe, special ed kids that have some high needs, and the cost to provide for them in a special or a public school setting is very expensive, and the state and feds continue to underfund it, but make mandates for us to still be able to provide that. And so it's frustrating on a large scale, because there's so much that's taken out of so many other areas to accommodate that cost.
That doesn't include transportation.
Correct.
yeah, that's another expensive piece of it, especially with the gas prices fluctuating the way they do. And then this is what was approved for the fiscal year adopted budget. As you can see, there was that decrease. That's a snapshot in time based off of the enrollment estimates, and that was at the time that I did the fiscal year budget, so that very well may have changed since then. And then we get into the levy. So here is the levy for our school. As you can see for pay 22, there's a difference between pay 22 and 23. The dollar difference is that $50,817.50. That is a negative number. It's a decrease by 2.95%. Again, that's based off of the ADMs. So ADMs for 2022, when they were solid, were 1,012. And right now, when I pull this information and what we're reporting, it's 977. So that's going to be reflective there. Of course, again, that number is subject to change as we keep updating enrollment numbers. And then the other big change there, obviously, with 164.94% difference is that debt redemption. And that is due to the new bond issuance for the school. Here's a breakdown of that levy. Again, I broke down mainly the general fund because that's the largest of the funds. So that difference of that 50,000, 50-some thousand there, there's the breakdown of where that difference lies. Again, that's the ADMs, subject to change. And that this $3,485,358.03 is the debt redemption number, that service number, and that includes that bond referendum. Now, as far as the new bond that was issued for the school district, of this number here, only $2,087,920.34 is in relation to that new bond that was passed. So it isn't this entire number here.
So back to the ADM number, knowing that there's a formula that goes into that, it's not actually butts and seats.
Right.
Where are we kind of at with butts and seats versus last year?
So you mean actuals or ADMs?
Actuals.
So I haven't looked at that at this time. I just have the ADM number, so I'd have to get back to you on that.
Okay,
I'd say we're flat right now.
okay. So the ADMs is really just because of the formula.
Right, yeah, and they take into account, like, if somebody's here for a month or somebody's here for 2 months, then they get a certain, yeah.
Well, when we graduate, we have some bigger classes coming up, and those kindergarten and first grade got bigger again, which is great. But they aren't weighted as high as the seniors.
Right, yeah.
So,
Yep, and that number, like I said, will continue to change as those get reported, so. And then this is what is the total proposed school tax levy amount. This $5,259,102.75. This is what we're proposing as the tax levy, including the general fund, community service, and the debt service, which is encompassing the new bond.
So I know we have to, we always do, like in October or whatever, we set the preliminary levy, and then this is the meeting where we officially set it.
Officially set it.
Has this changed since then?
It has, I would have to pull up those numbers.
Okay. But just because of the bond? Or-
Yep, Yeah, because of the bond issuance, and there was, actually, I was working with Ellers and they had found an error in there, in MDE's levy information, so they just actually had that corrected yesterday.
Okay.
So it's definitely gonna be a little bit different.
So how does that, so the tax statements that went out, that was always like the maximum, because the cities and the counties always set theirs
Yeah.
high too, and then they come down.
Yes, exactly.
So are our public in for a surprise that theirs is actually gonna go up for the school district? Because of these little changes, or,
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I would have to get back to you on that one to give you specifics about it, but I don't believe so.
And plus, because we always do the max.
yeah, I know that,
And
so,
talking to Ellers, it's not gonna have the impact because ours is set already at
Yeah.
that max amount.
right.
Whereas the city and the county have more flexibility to move theirs around.
Mhm.
So in fact, and obviously with everybody's valuations of their properties this year going up significantly, that's gonna have a huge impact on how much it is, but our amount's a fixed amount.
Okay.
So it's not, their tax statement will be impacted, just not because of the school district.
Yeah, well, I just didn't know if like that number that we all got in the mail, which was a little jaw dropping, was reflective of the bond, but it should have mostly been.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes.
talked to Ehlers about it, because I had a couple of public people ask me, and she said, yes, that was reflective of what was in the bond.
Yeah.
Because people wanted to know if that was that.
Right, like
plus-
just 1 year and then next year we're getting an even,
Yes.
yes, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That might cause panic in the streets.
Yeah.
No.
Good short information.
I would be.
And then I had
for
some that were
myself
like, wow, wasn't
before.
as much as we expected, so.
Oh,
That was over in Henderson too.
well, you can give me the difference to pay my taxes.
It wasn't me,
Oh,
it was another
oh,
community member. Oh, that's good.
All right, so does anybody have any other questions?
Do we need to read that resolution and approve it? I would guess, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's on the agenda for the next one.
Over the next meeting? Okay, perfect. So there's nothing really we have to do here today?
I'll have something for you to sign, but that's about it.
Okay.
And there's nobody from the community.
I was gonna say, the record reflect that despite my standing out in the hallway with the poster board saying school board meeting tonight, there is no one.
There was nobody here to discuss.
Oh, people are coming? All right. Ready to talk about taxes? Big little bit of-
Think that's rolling?
Yeah.
I mean, the meeting's done, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. We'll gavel this meeting to an end.
Okay,
All right, thank you, everybody.
Yes, you're welcome.
thank you.
All right.
Yeah,
We're going to talk about taxes because we just ended our meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're concluded.
Yes.
The presentation's done, yeah,
Yeah.
we just, okay.
Okay. But we're generally friendly people, so if you have questions,
We tried to be.
we can try to answer for you.
About the
Taxes.
levy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I voted for it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, well,
No,
not really.
okay.
Yeah, in case anyone isn't aware of the current climate for businesses in
Okay.
Minnesota and the economy.
Okay.
Anyone's been to the grocery store lately?
Inflation, yes.
Paid $5.50 for a dozen eggs,
Mhm.
$5 for a gallon of milk. And I see my property taxes have gone up $64,000. The estimated value of my home in one calendar year.
Is that, so that's your housing?
My home,
Okay.
the homestead, yeah.
Okay.
And so, yeah. And when the cumulative totals of all the levies are figured into the taxes, it's a whopping big bitter pill at 27.1%. And while we're fairly new to the community within the last couple of years, my wife's an educator. We lived in Minnetonka, and we moved here, like the climate a lot better. But this is really kind of unacceptable from a taxpayer standpoint. We understand the importance of schools, we understand the importance of infrastructure, we understand the importance of committing to future generations. the problem I have is that it appears that you wanted to do it all on the backs of this generation. And at 27%, I'm sorry, I just, you know, it's unfortunate, because I have these beliefs. Are you the council chair?
I'm the board chair, yes.
You're the board chair, okay, all right, so, yeah, and so, I'm sure this is gonna fall on deaf ears, at this point, because obviously we're late, you all decided, whatever, but, you know, as a constituent that lives in the community, I can assure you that moving forward, I will not support any type of levy of any sort for the school board without significant transparency. And maybe that falls on the backs of my shoulders, but when you read the referendum, it doesn't tell you the dollar amount. It doesn't say where the money's gonna come from, does it?
No, I mean, we put out publications, information.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, so not on the question, you're
Yeah.
right, on the ballot.
Right, exactly, and I think that frankly, that's egregious, and the fact that we're the only ones that
Yeah.
showed up.
Hey, I stood out in the hallway with my poster.
No, I understand, and we biffed and
Yeah.
didn't read everything
Yeah, that's-
as we should have. But, the reality is that my experience with the people in the community is that a lot of them just like, yeah, status quo, that's not, I'm not looking to ruffle any feathers, I'm not looking to, create controversy, but the idea, if any of you are business owners, can I see the hands of any business owners? If your employees came to you or you and said, I want a 27% increase in my pay, what would you do?
Be frustrated.
Frustrated, I'll tell you what you would do. You wouldn't be frustrated. You'd say, look, you can either take it or you can go find a job that's gonna pay you more. It's exactly what you would do. And, I'm not frustrated, I'm just disappointed. Because I'm gonna share one other thing with you and then I won't tie you up any longer because the roads are getting bad and y'all should get home anyway. When we moved from Minnetonka, we sold our home for $420,000 and got out. The point is, my property taxes in Minnetonka for that tax year, okay, I'm glad you're all sitting down. My property taxes were $4,400. Okay? Now, I understand in a smaller community, you have less numbers and you have a smaller tax base to pull from. I get it. We voted in favor because we're not opposed to marginal tax increases. Or even if you wanted to say cost of living, which of course, there's no inflation, but everything's up over 8% from last year. I could live with that. But frankly, 3 times that amount, no. No, I just don't believe that people who don't run businesses don't understand the gravity of that number. My mortgage payment's gonna go up $220-some, okay? That money is not figured into the mortgage, okay? It's not figured into the escrow. So come next year, I'm gonna get a big whopping bill to pay that, okay? And being a small business owner, look, if business is great, I'd still be here. But, there's a lot of things that have happened within my industry that, were mandated by the state, i.e. businesses being shut down and not being able to have conventions. And that significantly impacted my earning ability, okay? So, I don't know, I think you understand where I'm coming from. I don't know who is, I'm gonna have to talk to the county auditor about the assessment on my house. I think that, is anybody else's property value went up $64,000 in a
We
year?
live in Henderson, and ours went up, so when we got the proposed one in the spring, we contacted them because it was astronomical what they raised it in Sibley County.
Mhm.
And then we fought them to get it back down to, I think within 10,000, but
Mhm. You must
house.
be rich then.
I'm not
Right.
rich.
She owns her own
Right.
business.
Right,
Not if you're
well,
paying those taxes.
You know, so,
Well, yeah, and I do encourage, I don't know, do you live in the city limits?
yeah. so
Yeah.
up here we
So
go.
that 27% increase in your taxes, is that school district, city, and county?
Yeah, it's a trifecta.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're kind of tied, so like for the district, we are kind of mandated by the state what we can charge for our operating levy. And we obviously passed the bond referendum, so there's not much we can do at this point.
No, I understand,
But the
but
city and the county still have to set,
I understand.
yeah,
But
we know, I mean, I have the same.
Yeah, well, you
Shocking.
folks are leaders within the community, and you need to hear this.
Yeah, we do.
Because, I'll tell you, folks like us, we moved here for a reason. We've got other places to move. I mean, trust me.
Yeah.
We like the community, we like the people, but I'm not gonna get stuck like this again. I won't.
Do you own a business here,
Uh,
or you're
I-
just saying prior?
No, I have a business. I do not have a business storefront
Okay,
per se. No, my business is not like that.
yeah.
No, because my business got shut down by our illustrious governor 2 years ago during COVID, my storefront shut down, and so I had to change my entire business model, which changes a lot. So, anyway,
Well, we appreciate you coming out, and, yeah.
I'll sign in here just so you know who the squeaky wheel is.
That's okay. We appreciate your, like that, we can't make decisions in a vacuum, so we appreciate your input.
And I'm the business manager here, and here's my phone number and my name if you wanna give me a call. I also used to work for the assessor's office in Scott County, so if you wanna, I'd be more than happy to go over your property tax statement with you and talk about the impact of the school district.
What are your hours?
Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4.
All right, Gretchen, do you need to,
I need to run them. If you want to start,
10-minute, maybe we'll take a 10-minute break here between meetings, and then
that's okay. I gotta run them to hockey practice real quick.
get it organized and reset here for the regular meeting.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
This one's yours.
I think it's yours. I didn't bring it in. Just wondering why he was over here.
I couldn't remember.
Oh,
I got great memory for sure.
Playroom. Okay, I was gonna say, they always look so good, but I'm like, I like room, yeah. Yes. So Bridget,
yes.
is now a good time for me to hound you about this, my question that I emailed you on?
Good Lord.
Yep.
Just today.
Oh, today.
If you didn't see it, that's fine, it's a very simple, well, what I feel is a simple question, but when we have this
Send
board
us a letter.
representative,
I can read it during our meeting.
so this
Yeah.
is the document,
Yeah,
right, that
that's
Juanita
fine.
sent out about board
Okay.
committee
Oh,
assignments.
okay, yes, I did
And I-
look at.
Signed up for potential committees,
Oh, okay.
but then my question is on board representatives, like what are these specific pieces and,
Okay, now would be a perfect time to discuss this. Let me get.
Yes, about the org,
what?
are you asking about? The org sheet?
Yeah, like she sent out the thing today
Yeah.
for the,
School board assignments.
Yes,
Yeah.
or organizational is, yes.
Yeah, so I put some stuff on the board committees, right?
okay.
But then I was just saying, like, the marketing committee, what's that kind of entail, activities advisory, like, and are you looking for 3?
All right.
All right, welcome to December 5th, 6:30 meeting of the regular school board. We have a full board with us here tonight and no members of the public at this time. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 3 is our mission and vision statement, so just going to read something from our, see if we can find our mission and vision in here somewhere. I think I would be more nice in this by now. See, there's one I had to, yeah,
Look it up for you.
it's gotta be in here somewhere. I'm getting pretty close to our mission. Our mission is to help every student succeed.
This is our school district mission statement.
Oh, that's just a policy.
Oh, what's a policy?
No, no, there it is. All right, our mission statement is to provide a shared commitment to learning that enables every student to contribute and succeed in life. And down there, a little bit, do we have our, no, we don't have our pillars or whatever we call them, but we'll just go ahead and say that we're gonna keep working on our finances, right?
Yes.
There we go, okay. All right, sorry, my computer died, so I didn't use agenda for my phone. All right, item 5 is the approval of the agenda. Do we have any?
I have a change, Bridget.
Okay,
It's not really a change, but we're approving the third reading of policy 534 today.
okay,
And since we've gone through the 3 readings, MSBA has, and actually, the Attorney General has changed the language on this policy.
that's the lunch shaming one?
That's correct. So we met today as a committee, we're adopting the new language that doesn't allow for alternate meals. So the final reading, we've approved 2 readings of the old one,
Okay.
and now we're gonna be approving for the final reading with the new language.
Okay, new language.
And basically it's saying, I can read you the information if you want, but they used to allow alternate meals if they were in deficit for their food balance, and now they are not allowing that at all. So if they're in deficit, they still get whatever meal.
Same meal.
Thing.
Yeah.
Which we've kind of been doing anyway, haven't we?
Actually, for the
I
most
think
part,
we have
yeah.
offered,
We had been offering some.
but now it is, so we're gonna be changing that one, but we're gonna vote and finalize that reading tonight.
Okay. Do we need to reflect that in the written
Recording in progress.
anyway, or is it just?
Juanita was gonna put the new policy in there, I think you
as
did
an
that, right?
attachment?
Yep, so she put the new one with the language of the alternate meals out of there.
Okay.
So just wanna give you guys a heads up.
All right, any other?
Save some secret.
Oh. Okay, any other additions or changes to the agenda? All right, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Director Schwartz, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Director Hathaway, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same side if opposed, motion carries 7-0. All right, item 6 is our open forum. No one signed in for open forum? All right, item 7 is our Lee Stewart Henderson School District recognizes grants and donations. Take it away, Director Schwartz.
Resolution to accept grants and donations to the Lee Stewart Henderson School District. Whereas the Lee Stewart Henderson School District Board encourages the support of the district's educational programs through the funding and support of grant opportunities and donations that meet the goals and objectives of the school district. Whereas the school district will control and maintain all grants and donations to ensure that the interests of all students are met. Whereas the grants and donations listed below have been reviewed and approved by the administration of the Lee Stewart Henderson School District. Therefore, be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District number 2397 to accept the following grants and donations for the purposes intended. The Stewart Rotary Club $1,600 for Christmas in the Valley food cart materials. The Stewart Henderson Softball Association $856.45 for field maintenance for youth softball.
All right, as always, we are grateful for the community support that we get. This is a resolution, so first I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion from Director Cross, do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Director Burns. Okay, now I'll do roll call. Director Reen?
Aye.
Director Cross?
Aye.
Director Hathaway?
Aye.
Director Sorensen?
Aye.
Director Burns?
Aye.
Director Tuck? Aye. Director Schwartz?
Aye.
See, I'll keep you on your toes and just read the order on this piece of paper. All right, item 8 is our reports. Item 8.1 is finance, so Matt,
I don't think we met this time around, so, at this point, we'll probably be meeting, somewhat frequently with, some of the stuff with the building bond and materials and costs and things, stuff like that, but at this point, we do not know.
Item 8.1.2 is negotiations. That's neat. We also are not in negotiation season right now, but are we
in the back of your mind, we'll have to start in January, so if there's things within the contract, we should meet as a negotiations committee
Yeah,
to look at some of those things with the business manager to determine
yes.
items, because we'll have a number of
Mhm.
verbiage items that we need to get fixed and corrected.
Okay, we should schedule a meeting then, because, well, we don't know exactly who's on the committee yet, I suppose, in theory.
Correct.
Me and Brian.
Looks like you volunteered yourself.
Well, I think I'm stuck. As much fun as the negotiations committee is, I would say that that is one that having some experience, I mean, it'd be my third.
Yeah.
You know, you do kind of get the hang of it and know what they're gonna ask you and stuff. Okay, but we should have a negotiations meeting.
Yep.
I'm writing that down. That means for sure I won't forget.
Right. So we should meet, if you want, we can meet before Christmas.
No, my schedule is too crazy.
Okay, that's fine, we can do it after.
Okay. All right, item 8.1.3 is MVED. Director Cross.
No update, we'll meet next week.
We're always 1 week off with this.
Mhm.
All right, item 8.1.4 is Human Resources.
No report.
8.1.5, Policy.
We just met today to discuss that, 5.534, due to the changes with the Attorney General. Other than that, we're all up to date on that. Mr. Wagner did bring up, us to review the, medicine in schools too, that one, so he'd like to do a little bit more and changing some language possibly on that one in the future, but other than that, nothing else.
Okay. Item 8.1.6 is, let's just call it the new elementary steering committee, like
The POC.
POC, there you
I
go.
don't remember what that stands for though. Well, I probably met 2 weeks ago, I think. Anyway, guess the update out of that is there was 6 layout ideas that were generated at the public meeting, which was boiled down to 3. And then, as far as the building to be evaluated by that group, and then the buildings, they kind of set up to have groupings of programs within the new building, and then a flexible area for each grade. This is all the wish list yet, so this isn't final, right? Due to the slope of the or the slope of the land, there's 8 feet of slope going to the north, so there's gonna be kind of, is it 3 tiers, Jim?
Yeah.
That we kind of talked about, but they're gradual transitions, so there's not, you don't need elevators and steps and stuff, so they'll be kind of almost not noticeable as you transition into those different areas, so. Currently, looking at different options for storage and wrestling as part of the fabric building. The tornado shelter has been moved to the southeast corner of the building where the early childhood area is currently identified. And I guess the only other couple of things, there's a sewer line easement with the city that cuts across up here from Kingsway down to Ferry, across the property. So there was some more digging into that situation, no pun intended, I guess, to kind of determine best options for dealing with that, so, because that was kind of an unexpected deal. So, they had just finished the proposed layout that morning, and we're still going through some brainstorming on it that afternoon when we were there, so.
So they do kind of have a final design.
More like a rough draft.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a hybrid between a final design and a rough draft. It's a big thing to try to figure out what to do with that easement. Because it costs money to move.
Okay. And that's on us, even though it's the city's.
That's part of our discussion.
Okay.
But the school had approved it at the time that
Or
it was put in.
Or accepted that, yeah, whatever had happened in the back, because
Oh.
in 05 or some
Okay.
point that whenever it happened, so, and I don't know why they ran it right across the property, it's odd. But the idea of moving the storm shelter allows us to not have to dig so deep and to eliminate one elevator.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Yeah.
put the gradual
Mhm.
transitions, that saves us money. It also saves money having it part of the actual building in that side of the corner, just because then you can isolate it from the rest of the structured because of the storm, if we hit a storm and that kind of thing. Outside of that, I was just trying to make sure that it stays in budget and we can get it the way we need it to get it so it performs.
Which will be, I mean, like I said, I mean, the stuff that are the highlights, that's kind of the wish list right now. So as it sits right now, we've got things that need to change to get under the budget. We can't have everything that we want.
Yes. Always the case.
Yep.
What are we, so we still have that one last meeting of the big group.
Tomorrow.
Yeah,
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
Yeah.
yes, great. I was gone last week, so now I get to come. So that's just gonna be kind of, what, do you know what they're planning to do?
They're gonna lay out for the steering committee, kind of what Matt had just talked about,
Okay.
with the new layout of the gymnasium with the restroom on the side, because if we do it to the side, and now that the restroom doesn't necessarily have to be the storm shelter, it also reduces the cost.
Okay.
So the purpose of that was bringing the cost down, so you're not digging a whole other hole down deeper.
Right.
And trying to make that structure with concrete and all that kind of thing, so I would anticipate they're gonna have kind of a rough estimate of how close to budget we are at with
Okay.
things that we want to have in it and need to have in it.
Okay. So reality will hit us tomorrow, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I would say it would hit
Here are
us.
the teachers.
Well, that's good, I mean, that's where it's gotta, you gotta get there, right? Like,
Yeah.
you kind of put a bunch of things out there, and then you figure out what you can make happen, so.
Right.
All right, any other thoughts on that topic?
I don't think so.
We will have to have a discussion on basically three options with park, what we wanna do,
Okay. But not tonight, or?
not tonight, no.
Okay. All right, item 8.1.7 is community ed. I sit on community ed. We did not have a meeting this month. We do get nice updates from, I should just forward them to you actually, from Nate. Nate does a nice job of kind of summarizing what's going on, and he went to the Community Ed Council, or the big Community Ed Conference, and one of the things they emphasized was don't burn your Community Ed members, your board members, out with lots of meetings, if it can just be an email. So this month, we just got an email with a summary of what's happening, so that's kind of a good way to think about it. But we did have our Welcome to Leesburg event, if you remember, Bridget was very excited about that, and it was really good. We had like 10 or 15 newcomers show up, and there were lots of school reps there, and people kind of came through, and it was fun to hear, like, newcomers, I guess my takeaway is they're like starving for other people to do stuff with. Like, there were a couple young moms there, and they, by the time they were done, they had signed up for Puzzles and Pie, and to do it together, because they didn't know anyone else in town to do it with, so. That was kind of my takeaway, they seemed to be engaging, so it was fun. We got money from it'll come through here eventually, but the Leesburg Community Foundation gave us $500 to do 2 of them next year. So. Item 8.2 is our student report. Bella is not here tonight. We are in the process, I didn't check in, but Juanita kind of knew a little bit about it, but we are in the process, yes, Jim, of appointing finding, I believe the application deadline has come for.
Yep, it's coming past, so now there's two recommendations, so the committee has to get together to interview the 2 students and then determine who would be the next rep. So has to be, I think, the board chair, was it the board chair, myself, a teacher, and one other person.
Okay. You guys gonna? Yes. Okay, so you guys will tell me when to come to a meeting?
Sure.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so we'll have so we kind of timed this out, if you guys remember, so that the new student rep would be seated with the new board, so they kind of come on with the new board. Item 8.3 is the superintendent report.
Not a lot going on. We had Christmas in the Valley on Friday night. Conditions were perfect for a nice night.
For snow globe?
Well, it's better it was in the valley than up on top.
Yeah, it was.
Picturesque.
It was awesome, I loved it, except it was very cold.
Yeah, Kelsey's son was there. We walked the school district behind a float in the parade, that kind of stuff. So it was, on the conditions, it was well attended and that kind of stuff. So, Other than that, just working on a number of different things right now, trying to work on the school calendar. As much fun as negotiations are, I
I know.
think the school calendar is probably even more fun.
I was just gonna say,
Just so you
what would you
know.
prefer?
That was a
So
joke.
I tell people, they're like, you were school board chair through COVID and face masks. I'm like, yes, you know what's the most tough? The calendar.
The calendar, so, there's some issues coming up with that, there's still a couple issues with, I shouldn't say a couple issues, there's a couple of staff still having issues with graduation and how it somehow is an issue with past practice or violation of something or whatever, so. Working through those details, all that kind of stuff. Outside of that, it's not the majority, so I don't want people to think that it's the whole group, it's just, literally, it's down to 3 people, and so, for whatever reason, they have this issue with it, and as a district, we've done everything that we've needed to accommodate time and whatever, and so, so at some point, we're gonna have a kind of a happy talk and figure out what's gonna have to happen moving forward, that kind of thing, so. Outside of that, just trying to get stuff going here, the high school's getting more squared up with fixing the schedule, dealing with a few things with registration, that kind of stuff, some of the things that weren't being done, that's kind of come to light, as far as with classes, what teachers knew what was being posted, not posted. Registration for prerequisites weren't being done, couldn't get that stuff fixed, and so, as we work through that, to get that situated so that it's a better schedule for the kids and getting them situated, and then, met with the nurses and the admin for each of the buildings to figure out how that extra position is working towards helping with mental health at all the levels, and so that way, looking for them to present, and they're working on different things that they can do to help provide more mental health resources for our students and
And that was
providing.
a grant, right?
It was through ESSER dollars.
That's right, okay.
Yep, and so trying to look at what that's gonna do to help with that, and then in the consent agenda, we did find a counselor to help, short-term to get us through this, spring semester with the high school, middle school, that kind of stuff, with the issues that they have up there. So they're not shorthanded, and then, outside of that, just trying to, working with the architect and with Krause Anderson and just staying on top of things and looking for alternatives, ideas. At this point, we're probably not gonna go with Honeywell, with the energy savings plan, just because we're finding, better deals out there to do something with just paying for the equipment and not having to do an actual
Like a contract.
the contract and long-term thing, just because of the cost. We get more bang for a buck if we just pay for the equipment and have it installed, and just keep the energy savings that we get for ourselves and that kind of thing, so. So basically, I spend most of my time looking at it as many ways as we can to save money and be fiscally responsible, so. Outside of that, that's primarily everything going on so far. A few kids, we're putting through programs for activities and athletics, so helping out with that, with training kids, getting them proper technique with workouts and that kind of thing, so. I had a few over the weekend that I put through workouts. They weren't cussing at me, but they were walking funny today, so this is what it is.
And so we should not have a board boot camp with you, is what you're saying?
I didn't say that.
They're having pretty good attendance at the
Yeah.
morning workouts.
Yep,
right?
they're averaging anywhere from 17 to 25 kids every time, and then that doesn't include the kids that come in the afternoons, in between the sports to work out as well. Kids are seeing that, if they wanna make a change, they gotta change within themselves first, and if, and quite honestly, this was, I didn't realize where we're at until we actually did a strength contest with, not a contest, but just a baseline for kids at, and I have to admit, this is the first time I've had a football team that nobody in the football team could bench press more than 200 pounds. So, we know our starting point now, so now we just gotta get to where we need to go, so the goal is to have at least 20 of them benching over 200 pounds by the start of next football season, so.
Is that, morning program only for high school?
Middle school, high school.
So not sixth grade?
Sixth grade can be there if they have a ride to get in there, it's just that it makes a long day for them, because they usually get done by about 7:30. depending what time kids get there, some of them get pretty sweaty, so as long as they have access, we can get into the locker rooms, that kind of stuff, but they just have to be prepared. I just saw them for sixth graders, it's a little harder, cause you have to be more careful with just how much weight bearing and stuff that they go through, cause if their growth plates are still very tender at that age, and I just don't wanna put them in a spot where they get an issue of hurting themselves or damaging themselves.
You're probably better off just finding an hour in the afternoon instead of coming in the morning.
Probably. So, other than that, and then some of the kids that wanted me to ask, to see, make sure that the board was okay for the current structure of the football program to stay the way it is, that kind of thing, so I told the board probably not gonna make a decision tonight about it, but they want their opinion expressed that they liked how it went last year, so.
You tell them,
Come to our meeting.
come to our meeting.
Okay, I can tell them.
You get 20 football players.
Hey,
Doesn't
better
matter.
hear it.
Once they figure
Very
out
excited.
bench
I will be
press,
so
200 pounds.
excited.
There you go.
We have to bench a couple of school board members.
Okay, I'll tell them that. Give them a seven.
They gotta come see democracy in action.
There you go.
All right, item 9 is our consent agenda. Well, I didn't mean it. Does anyone have any questions for Jim? Okay. Our consent agenda, we don't discuss it, we just vote on it, so I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion from Director Ream, do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Director Sorensen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Same sign of opposed. Motion carries 7-0. Okay, purchases above 5,000. We have an invoice for our elementary school. We're starting to see the bills come rolling in, huh, Jim? Anything
Yep.
we need to know about that, or?
This is just ATS&R and the work that they're putting in, for the process of designing the building and all that kind of stuff, so it's pretty
Straightforward.
straightforward and standard, and this will be, most of them now after this point will be all smaller, 'cause the bulk of the work is done now,
Yes.
versus throughout the whole process of the project, so.
Okay. Any questions for Jim on that? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the purchase.
So moved.
Motion by Director Schwartz, do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Director Cross. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed. Motion carries 7-0. All right, item 11, old business. So we've got the second of 3 readings for policy 722, which is,
722 is the public data requests. Public data and data subject requests. And there was quite a bit of language added into this due to a situation in one of the school districts in the cities this last year with, I think it was a campaign individual who got information from the school and just said political stuff too. So this was highly redlined to get updated.
any questions for policy committee on that?
And again, this is all MSBA language too, we didn't make up our own language on that.
Hearing no questions, I will make a motion to approve that. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Director Schwartz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed. Motion carries 7-0. All right, then 11.2 is the third of the 3 readings for those policies with the note right on that one, Gretchen.
Yeah, so 534, this, the last 2 readings were different, but we've changed it now, and you'll see later in the thing that it will be the new language of 534, which is taking out the alternate lunch thing due to the language from the.
Any questions on any of those policies? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion from Director Sorensen. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Director Hathaway. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed. Motion carries 7-0. All right, item 12.1, first and final reading on policy. Oh,
Yep,
that's-
yep,
oh,
so again, this is where now we're getting the new alternate lunch language in there, so now we have the one that.
that we approved and then
that we-
I got it.
That's correct.
All right, I'll make that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Director Burns. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same side opposed. Motion carries 7-0. All right, 12.2 is the resolution.
ISD 2397, Lisa Henderson Public Schools, resolution to adopt the final 2022 payable 2023 tax levy. Whereas pursuant to Minnesota statutes, the School Board of Independent School District number 2397, Leesburg, Minnesota, is authorized to make the following proposed tax levies for general purposes. General Fund, $1,670,565.56. Community Service, $103,179.16. Debt Service, $3,485,358.03, with a total proposed school tax levy of $5,259,102.75. Therefore, be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District number 2397, Leesburg, Minnesota, that the levy to be levied in 2022 to be collected in 2023 is set at $5,159,677.99. The clerk of the School Board of Independent School District number 2397 is authorized to certify the proposed levy to the County Auditor of Leesburg County, Minnesota.
All right. I will entertain a motion to approve the resolution. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Director Sorensen. And it's a roll call, so Director Ream? Aye. Director Cross?
Aye.
Director Hathaway?
Aye.
Director Schwartz?
Aye.
Director Sorensen?
Aye.
Director Tuck? Aye. Director Burns?
Aye.
Director Sorensen, you're on here twice.
Aye.
Okay, I wasn't confusing myself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we aren't missing anyone. All right, motion carries 7-0. All right, item 13, board member communications ideas exchanged. I went to see the play. That was fun.
It was good.
It was really good. There was some seriously good acting going on.
It seemed like it was a smaller cast than
I think
usual.
it was a smaller cast,
Yeah.
but boy, they really, it was very well acted.
Yeah, I was a little surprised with the attendance. A little low.
It was a little low, but it was cold.
Yeah, it was not pleasant outside.
It's like I had to convince myself that I really wanted to go. But I'm glad I did, but yes. I was only there one night. It was Saturday night and it was, I didn't know Friday night more people.
My daughter, she said it was pretty small all 3 times.
I really like Mr. Lewis's updates on the AD stuff. It's nice to see those again and have updates for us who can't go all the time. I want to send those kudos to him.
Where are you getting those?
Just like he has like an Instagram page and
Oh,
there's like
oh, yes,
Leesburg
yes,
Henderson
yes.
activities. It's
Yes.
nice to
Yeah,
keep up with
it was
those.
fun to
It's
be.
Facebook
Yeah.
and Twitter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Facebook, yeah. You're right, that is very nice. Anything exciting going on with sports? I don't have a winter sport athlete, so
Seasons are young.
that's right.
Wrestling season's going on.
Excellent. Basketball. Have the boys played any basketball? In one game.
They had one guy win, they played.
Hockey won, boys hockey won their first, lost their second. Girls have had a couple more games than boys,
Yeah, I think they're 3 and 3.
yeah. And the boys just they had scrimmages and then they had 2 varsity games.
I've offered the girls free haircuts, but they don't want my haircut.
You're right, a few of them might.
Yeah, the rule changed this year.
Oh, did it, would it change?
They don't have to wear a cap anymore if your hair's too long
For what?
for wrestling.
So that used to kind of keep them in check, because they.
Well, yeah, because like
Yeah.
some kids, if it was too long, then you had to wear a cap and then you wore your headgear, but they changed the rule and you don't have to cut it anymore.
Well, I didn't know that, that's disappointing.
Okay, well, and we got, I don't know who else thinking about going to MSBA conference, it's coming up here. Gretchen and I are
Did you
going.
get my?
Is that the first week in January?
I think it's middle.
No, 12 or
10th,
13.
I was gonna say 10th or 12th.
I'm gonna be gone the first meeting, I'm gonna be in Florida, but I told Juanita I was Zoom.
Okay.
So I think I have to swear you.
Oh,
returning
yeah,
members back
that's
in.
right. Me
So-
too. Okay, good, from Florida, you can laugh at us while we're cold and warm. And we'll put you on all the committees then.
I was gonna say you're not here. You're gonna be board chair, you're gonna be
Board
board
chair, negotiations
Yeah.
committee, all the fun.
But the actual MSBA conference is in,
I feel like this is second week.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it is.
12, 13.
sounds.
Yeah.
12th and 13th, yeah. Or, I'm sorry, 11th and 12th. The night of 11th and then it's 12th.
That's a Wednesday and Thursday now.
It is?
No, well, the Wednesday, it's
No.
Wednesday night for the early bird stuff, but then it's all day Thursday and then half
Half
the
day
morning
Friday,
on
that's what
Friday.
it's always been, yeah.
Okay. So Gretchen and I are you Matt? No? Yes, no? Brian, you talking with?
Probably not.
Juanita's working on mine.
I do, but I think I'm gonna be at every other year.
Ah, that makes
Maybe.
sense, for sure. Kelsey's going to Florida. Jenny's coming?
I've got a email of Juanita.
Okay, that sounds excellent. All right, our next meeting then, we will have a meeting in 2 weeks, Jim.
Yes,
We'll talk, probably, one of our topics is gonna be the
part,
park building, and then is Darren gonna come?
Darren's gonna come and then talk about the handbook for elementary.
Okay, awesome. Then it'll be the first Monday in January. I told my daughter, I'm like, this could have been my last school board meeting, but.
Tuesday, you get Monday off.
Oh, it's a Tuesday?
Tuesday, yep.
Oh, okay. All right, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Director Ream, do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Director Sorensen. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed, motion carries 7-0.
Seven, turn off the camera.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
I can see what's hanging out in here for me, Juanita.
Oh, I gotta sign stuff.
There it is.